Ozone. Ozone is an essential constituent of the Earth's atmosphere because of the role that it plays in absorbing high-energy ultraviolet radiation, which is harmful to biological activity. It causes skin cancer and can damage DNA, amongst other things. Ozone forms high up in the atmosphere, where oxygen reacts with an ultraviolet photon to produce two oxygen radicals, one of which in turn reacts with diatomic oxygen via some kind of catalyst and produces ozone. That ozone forms high up and then sinks to a region between about 15 and 20 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, which is known as the Ozone Asphere. Ozone is destroyed continuously and naturally by ultraviolet radiation, but it's also destroyed by chlorofluorocarbons, which is why they're banned under the Montreal Protocol. Concentrations vary according to the circulation, and so you can see in the bottom left a figure that shows ozone concentration in Dobson units, and you can see lower values over Antarctica and higher values further equatorward. The figure on the right is showing a number of things. So firstly, we have altitude on the left in kilometers from 0 to 35 kilometers above the surface, and on the right hand side that's shown in the equivalent atmospheric pressure, which you can see decreases with height. Along the bottom we have the ozone partial pressure in millipascals, and what that is, it's simply ozone's contribution to the atmospheric pressure that you'd measure at that level, and that's indicated by the blue shaded region. The scale along the top firstly gives you the temperature in degrees Celsius, and that's the red line, and then finally we have the ozone mixing ratio in parts per million, so what percentage of the atmosphere is made up by ozone. You can see from the temperature profile that initially temperature increases with height and then is roughly constant and decreases up to about 9 kilometers in this figure, and then temperature is roughly constant up to about 22 kilometers. The decrease in temperature is a result of the fact that the atmosphere absorbs energy very weakly, whereas the surface of the Earth absorbs radiation more strongly, and so the heating through the atmosphere is the result of turbulent motions driven by that surface level heating. But the constant temperature that's observed is a function of ozone heating, that is the energy that's released when ozone is formed and destroyed. You can see that because the ozone mixing ratio is pretty much close to 0 to about 9 kilometers, notwithstanding the ozone that's produced near the surface by things like photocopiers and combustion and so on. And you can see ozone steadily increases all the way up to a maximum, where's that? That's nearly 28 kilometers, something like that. So that's where ozone is produced and then drops down, and you can see a peak in the ozone partial pressure near about 17 kilometers. So the production of ozone in the upper atmosphere is a good thing because it protects us from harmful UV, and from an exobiology point of view, or an astrobiology point of view, ozone is a signature of life because oxygen is only produced biologically, and if you have no oxygen then you can't have ozone production. But ozone production near the surface is harmful to life, it's carcinogenic,